we have a Stihl weed eater here. It's a FS75. Owner says it doesn't work, hasn't used it for a while, and considering the primer bulb has a giant hole in it, probably not a good sign. So far I'm just taking the air filter out, and yeah, it's not horrible, but I mean, could be worse. So I'm going to take it apart. Something that you're going to want to get is 8mm, some fine needle nose pliers, or ugly ones, whatever you want to do, and take off these two. All these are basically the same. Sometimes Stihls, the fuel lines are different, but I'm hoping that it is the Stihl fuel line because they are actually very good. They're very high quality. What's this say? Ah, that's good. They tell you what side's the top. Let's see here. Nah, it's not the high quality one. Whenever you see these, it's not good. I mean, they're not horrible, don't get me wrong. But, in fact, maybe you have some chuck. I don't know if it's necessarily a consumer version or a pro version. This says it's pro, but I question that. But these are the ones I'm talking about. They're very easy. It just slips in there. Goes to the carb. That's the fuel. You put a fuel filter on this end, and that's it. It's easy, quick, fast. Instead, now we have to use some of that, which is just like generic fuel line. I don't really like using the black one because you can't see the fuel go up when you pump it. And while yeah, eventually we'll just go to the primer bulb, I still like to look at it. So let's pull this out. See how it's connected by a very shifty looking throttle line. Okay. Maybe a screwdriver to help us out here. This is definitely a little on the crunchy end of it. How is that throttle put on there? Oh. That's weird. The throttle goes all the way through it. Huh. Okay. Whatever. There we are. Put that off to the side. Now, let's take off the fuel line. That's definitely going to be needed replaced. There's no fuel in there. If there was, you'd want to take the cap off, otherwise this line is pressurized and it'll probably shoot fuel at you. Okay, well, as you can tell, nice. Let's go ahead and take this apart and take you over to the carb station and see if there's any difference between a Stihl carb and a normal carb. It says Zama on it, so probably not much. If I remember correctly, there's just one or two minor differences. But we'll find out together on this one. Be right back. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to try to save these gaskets. If worst comes to worst, I can always make one, but I prefer not to. These little holes are very particular. So I just take a razor, I just kind of lift it underneath it and kind of walk it off. You don't really want to pull on it because that's how you rip. And there you go. It actually came off fairly decently, especially this material. Do the same thing. Usually they just get stuck around the screw holes because that's where the pressure is. There we go. Okay, now that's done. There's a dot on all the screws. So, JAS screwdriver. Look at the condition. Yeah, not horrible so far. This side, the carburetor acts like the fuel pump, so let's make sure that's clean. And could be cleaner, so we're going to put that in a tray. This is the problematic one. I mean, that's not good. Two screws here. Two screws there, or one screw, and one screw. That should take off this little metal piece, and it does. Just gonna throw it out in the garbage right now, or the floor. There we go. Man, this year has been insanely busy. Usually I can do other stuff besides just lawnmowers or weed eaters or something, but man, this year, I tell you, it's just busy. Which I'm not going to be complaining about. It's something that I enjoy doing. If it wasn't, then I wouldn't do it. But, yeah, lawnmowers afford me the opportunity to do other stuff. Weed eaters, the same thing. Yeah, that's not bad. This, it's not horrible. What type is this? It's the one with a hole in it. Probably have more of those somewhere. Yeah, it's gooey in here. It's like rusty. It tells me water. Okay, so this is the small part that I was talking about. It's different. Usually this is not removable, or if it is, it's not very easily removable. With Stihls, if your screwdriver's small enough and deep enough, let me see if I can find one. Who to guess a Stihl screwdriver isn't the one that you're going to need? Maybe this one? Ah, barely too big. There we are. Now we're working with something. Where is the other end of this? Aha, here we are. Okay. Assuming that it's not just going to strip. Yeah, it's just going to gall. I'm just going to blow through it. Basically what that is, it's just a jet that goes all the way through. into there and shoots the fuel out. Okay, ultrasonic cleaner is warming up. I'm going to put this in there for about 10 minutes. I do kind of like this though because there's no adjustment, so it's literally just install and work. That's always nice. Okay, enough babbling. Go ahead, get it done and bring you guys back. Okay, all that is done. This is nice and clean, blown out. Should be pretty dry. Let's take this off. Okay. Now, what we have to do is we're going to inspect the needle. So far it looks pretty good. It's a rubber tipped one, so I'm not too concerned over it. If it's the metal ones, those are the harder to get working correctly. Okay, so if I could find that little spring, there it is. The way I do this is I try to make this as level as possible, which it's not easy because the throttle, see, level as possible. Then I take the spring, there's this little groove it fits into. Probably need to do this with two hands. Because when I first did one of these, this was probably the hardest part. And trust me, it will not be easy your first time. But here we go. Clean off everything. That's really good. So, I don't know how well you can see this, but needle, little arm, and pin. I grab it by the needle. Then I lift this up so I can see it better. And I put the needle in while holding the other side of my other hand. And with the needle going in, the spring goes into this little indent. And then you have to kind of fudge with the pen. And that's it. Now, let me actually clean that up. There we go, that's better. Holding it down, you put the screw back in. You want it tight, but not super tight. There we go. Make sure when you press down, the needle goes up and goes back down. That one does. Should be set. Okay. So, we put a gasket on, and then I found another diaphragm. The way you know that you're putting it on right is the holes will match up. Oh no. This diaphragm will not work actually. They do not match. Luckily I have this one too. Let's see if this one's any better. Oh yeah, that's good. Then we put this plate on. We grab a primer bulb. The color that you put on is actually important. They make red ones too, and those are just a little bit thicker. Okay, then we take the shorter of the screws, put that in, kind of hold all this in place. I guess technically we could have done this before the primer bulb, but well. Usually they don't have 2 and 2, usually they just have 4. So you have to do that all at the same time. But Stihls are definitely a little bit different. Same thing with these type, but not super tight, it's plastic. You don't need it to break on you. It is odd that it was going like that. Why would the fuel line be so close to that? Let's take that off and make sure I put it on right, because that doesn't seem right to me. It seems like the holes matched up though. But I could have put it on backwards. Yeah. Go back. It goes back. The holes line up just fine. Oh, I see. I was only looking at that one. There's another one right there. These are little tiny holes that fills the primer bulb. Okay, so let's do it this way then. Stihls and I have an interesting relationship. They're great, don't get me wrong, they run great. They're definitely a higher quality machine, and that's good. But they're just not very easy to work on. I mean, a carb is a carb. This is no different than any others, but other parts of it just seems like there's an easy way and a hard way. And they decide to take the hard way about 90% of the time. Yeah, glad I ordered more of those gaskets. Just came today. Okay. Perfect, so far. Now this side's the easy side. I'm just going to put it back on. Because the flaps look good. I see no reason for concern. Just in case there's a dab of water somewhere in there. Here we are. There we go. Now besides the gaskets for the outside, this should be done. Okay, I'm going to bring you over to the table again, and we're going to replace some fuel line, because it's something on these are a little bit more difficult, so be prepared to see a struggle. Okay, so I thought this was empty, but there's some type of fluid in there. let's see what it is first. Oh, that's scary. That is fairly decent fuel. Doesn't smell, well, doesn't smell too bad. But what I notice is that's decent new, well not new, but decent straight fuel. Let's give this a pull. Well, there's still compression in there. What I want to do, just for longevity of it, I'm going to take out the plug real quick. And what is my plug screw? Let's see here. That wasn't even tight. The plug's the NGKR BPM R7A. That's the right one. But because it was straight fuel for a while in there, this is a little container of Marble Mystery Oil. It's going to be a little smoky when it starts up, but this at least will lube up at least the top end of the cylinder. The bottom's the question. It's spitting out of the carb. That's interesting. Ugh, that thing is so hydro-locked. Well, I guess not now because it's open, but still. There's a lot of fuel in there. Ugh. Let's grab this real quick. Cover your ears. Well, the good news is I did see a little bit of movement coming out of the exhaust, so it's not plugged and it's wet, so that's good. My concern with it coming out of the intake is that the exhaust was so plugged up. It very well could just be that there's so much in there. This is going to be a joy to start, I can tell that already. Okay, well, onward and forward. Let's see here. Okay, so, first things first. This is the vent tube. That doesn't go anywhere except just back into the tank, recycles the fuel out. That's the easy one, and it's also pretty nasty. Hard one's this one. This is the fuel hose. The fuel hose you have to kind of pull up for a little bit, and pliers are all oily now. I take these and go inside, kind of grab the fuel pump. At least I tried to. This is where that struggle comes in I was talking about. And it looks like we also have that, which is supposed to be attached to the cap. As you can tell, it falls right off. I'm not going to worry about that now. Maybe a pick is a good idea. nice little angle on it. So it's going to be really hard to pull that out with that fuel pump or the fuel filter on there. There we go. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and take that out. It's actually pretty decent, except for the fact it's full of straight fuel. You might be recommissioning that one. Yeah, just straight gas coming out of that now. It's almost gone now. Okay, now what? So first things first. Fuel line hose. Take the new hose, get a rough estimate of how long it is. It's about that bit long, and I cut just a little bit more, not like that much. Something to also bring up: the inside diameter of this is usually different. You have to make sure that it fits snugly over the end of your carburetor. I'll be right back. Okay, never mind, false alarm. I thought someone was here. So, I take it, I cut just a little bit off. I take the same oil, and I kind of lube up the inside of this little rubber gasket. What this cut does is it makes it a lot easier. I haven't tried to do this so you can see, but I don't know how well it's going to work. And then you push it in. There we go. Oil is actually very important, and that, because if you don't, trying to get it started is next to impossible. So with the line in place, pull it so you have enough to, then make it flat, and put your fuel filter on. Let's see if I have a better one. There we go. The fuel filter is important because not only is it a filter, but it's weight. You need to have a little bit of weight in it for it to work properly. If not, then when you use it, with the level of the fuel changes, the fuel line will just rise up and it will never suck fuel, it'll just suck air. Okay. I'm trying to get the filter to go in the back. There we go. Okay. Now, that's done. Let's push it down to the right level. So that's that one. Next one is the shorter of the two. Same thing. Get the approximate level or amount. Take it. Cut just a little bit more. Take our oil. Cut the little this one doesn't have to go very far in. You just have to make sure that it's, half inch in there. There we go. And I can see it already. Perfect. Now, the gasket is not on there. Which one was it? Was it this one? Let's see. It's like this. Yeah, this one. The hole is on the bottom. this. Next, we put the carb on. This is going to be fun, putting this throttle on there. What a nice design. You have to squish it all the way down. You can always tell what parts of a motor were made on a Monday. Just saying. Okay. And there we have it. So this is the fuel. The one that's closest to the primer bulb is always the return. So the fuel we need to cut off or push in. You can do that. Let's push in a little bit more. You can also put oil on the end of the carburetor, but they're generally not that hard to put on. Return, same exact thing. So this one is going to be hard, naturally. Okay. There we go. Just getting it started. It's the hard part. Okay, now we take our nice and marked, oh no, we need this gasket put back on there. Now we take our nicely marked plate . Whatever that is. And put our air filter cover on there. These are 8mm. Start them by hand, then use the impact to put them on. Not super tight, but tight. There we are. Let's put this back in, and this back on. You know what, we'll just do it live. This is non-ethanol 2-cycle fuel, about 45 to 1. We're going to put about 1/4 of a tank in there. That should be good. We need a gas cap, otherwise it's not going to work properly. There we go. Pump it a few times. We hope to see the primer bulb fill up with fluid. There we go, starting to. Has to fill up the whole carb. It's about halfway full. Now let's put that back on. It's actually not that bad of a plug. It's probably going to smoke heavily because of what we did. There we That is choke. This is on start. Let's see what happens. How do I do this? Here we go. Feels funny. You know what? I think it's so so flooded that it's just spitting out the exhaust. Sometimes you can clear it out by blowing. We're going to try that, and if not, we're going to take the plug out again and blow into it. Let's find out. No. That's a workout right there. Now, when I do that, I'm holding down the throttle. See what it looks like on the inside. Nothing horrible. Let's try it again. Okay, I'm going to take the plug off and blow into it and see if that helps. Okay, so after some creative thinking, mainly because it's not wanting to start, I'm going to be testing the compression. This is a compression tester. You just screw it in through the plug, spark plug hole. It's a little easier sometimes to take this off. What is going on here? Yeah, do you ever just know that something's going to be difficult and you don't necessarily know the reason why, but then the more and more you think about it, the more and more it comes to you? Probably because I was turning it the wrong way. Huh. Okay, nice and tight. This should be on the low end, 80. Ideally around 100, 120. And the more and more I pull on it, the more and more I think it's not. So let's find out. Oh. Helps when it snaps into place. There we go. When you do this full throttle, you need a full amount of air going through. That's at 100. So it could. Maybe there's just no spark. The hard part about testing for spark on this is where do you put it on metal? We're gonna have to take off this case. So let us do that. It's never the simple way. Wow, that really was on there. Should go one more in the front. Okay, so let's put that one one back in. Put the plug back in. Hold it against the exhaust or oh, there's plenty of spark. Let's try the plug. Yeah, no, both plugs look exactly the same. Okie dokie. Well, for ease, let's just put this back on like that. There we go. Let's see what happens now. Yeah, full throttle. No. Something. Definitely. Yeah, that looks pretty good too. I'm looking at the magnet and seeing when it's going to the coil. Sometimes it should be maybe just bad timing, but no. Let's do this. A dash of 2-cycle oil in there. Or not oil, but fuel. Maybe it's just not getting enough gas. It went from having too much to not having enough. Full throttle again. That's a big no. Let's try this one. I hate this thing. It's dry. You know what? Those numbers for the compression, that's for a 4-cycle. If I remember correctly, a 2 is supposed to be higher than that. Okay. How do these come off? I'm assuming. Everything on the Stihl is always a star. Or whatever that 6-sided star bit is called. So I'm assuming it's that. There we go. Come on, where's the other one? There's 2 of these on here. Yeah, there's 2. Maybe someone already took it off. Wow. No, it's definitely in there. thing's cursed, I tell you. There we are. Man. Another thing that happens with Stihls is the exhaust gets plugged up pretty commonly because the spark arrestor they have. Oh, there's one on the side too. Is there more? What else is missing here? I'm gonna wash my hands and be right back. Okay, so found out there was another bolt down there. I took it apart, took the exhaust off, actually took the motor off while you guys were gone, and I looked at the piston on the other side, and it looked like there was a little bit of scoring, not much, but I was curious. So just looking through the throttle though, I could see a score on this side, which is kind of odd, to be honest. Usually, in fact, I've never really seen it. There's usually a score on this side, but like I said, it's very, very faint, and it does have some compression. I redid the compression test, and I don't know how I got 100 before, but the highest I was able to get now is 90. The first one was 85, the other one was like 86, the other one's 90. And I looked it up, and it should be about 110 to 120. So this is definitely not it. There is a slim possibility that the rings are just stuck. I don't really think so, because when I looked in there, the rings look to be pretty clean. What happens is the carbon will build up on them and will actually make it not run. So unfortunately on this one, I don't think this is going to be very repairable. It's not flooding. It's not, every time I pull on it, it's not, the plug isn't wet. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, not really. High hopes. But unfortunately, I just don't think this is going to be a saver. Even if it did, it probably wouldn't run very long. I'll just give this one final twist for fun time's sake. See what happens. Choke is off. Yeah, it's parts. Okay, well, I'm going to have to unfortunately tell the owner it's just not going to be fixable today. Unless he wants to completely rebuild the engine, in which case that could be expensive. Yeah, other than that, it's going to be about it. If you like everything you see, be definitely subscribe and comment below and keep on watching. I will see everyone later.